On this episode of On the Bridge, we're doing DSNM's carpool karaoke. No, I'm only kidding. We wouldn't really put you through that. We are going on a boat. We're out and about. We're on our way to the Isle of Wight. Destination is UKSA. And we're going over to chat to the team about all the courses that they offer. We're going to talk to them about self-development, funded courses, how they give opportunities to underprivileged children and young adults, and yeah, have a good old nose around the facility. Amy, thank you so much for having us today. So you're going to give us a tour of the facility of the UKSA, but let's start a little bit more about you. So your role here, you're the Director of Development and Impact.
Yep.
So what is your day-to-day role?
So day to day, a lot of fundraising, a lot of raising the funds so that we can offer all of our programs to children and young people who face financial barriers. So we give out well over £1 million of bursary funding every year. It's quite a lot. So lots of raising the money. Really, I've got a team in place that are absolutely fantastic at working with corporate partners, working with grant giving organisations, working with major donors, super yacht owners. We've got some of those who see the benefit of supporting and kind of inspiring young people into maritime careers. And then we also look after all of our partnerships across the organisation and our impact. So really understanding, what are we doing? Is it working? How do we communicate that impact to our donors?
Definitely.
So, yeah.
So a lot of the funding then for the courses where you're assisting with the financial aspect, then that comes from your internal team raising those funds, working with regular donators, partners, and just maybe lovely people who want to contribute.
Yeah. So it's all voluntary donations. Exactly that. So yeah, really working with people who care about young people, and people who care about giving opportunities to people who wouldn't otherwise be able to have them, and opening up the maritime industry. So having the industry backing what we're doing is really important.
Sure. And something you've just said there about giving people an opportunity. So I think from the outside, often the super yacht industry, maybe even the maritime industry to some respect, can be seen quite elitist, and that unless you're wealthy to start with, you're not going to be able to get into it. And one of the things I've been so keen to learn about the UKSA is how many opportunities you give children and adults to be able to get a taste of what it might be like, get that first step on the ladder. So tell me about the funding that goes into the courses.
Yeah, so we do a lot of residential trips for children, for school children, and through youth groups and things. So they come to UKSA, so we've got 365 beds on site. They come and stay with us, generally for sort of 5 days, 4 nights, and they get out on the water and they learn about just what the water can mean for them. They build their life skills, resilience, confidence, teamwork. And they just have a fantastic time. And what we're trying to do is inspire them to come back, to want to come back on something else. So we have development programs in place during the school holidays, so they can come and just learn a bit more about the maritime industry. What does that mean? What could that mean for them? And then we have sort of further education programs, apprenticeships, and entry-level careers as well. So we've got a kind of whole pathway really about inspiring young people into maritime careers. And as we've talked about, the kind of funding element of that is that anyone that faces a financial barrier at any of those stages can receive funding to come.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
And also something I thought was really interesting we were talking about earlier is the opportunities for maybe teenage young adults who maybe don't fit the school system 100%, which I think we see more and more now. But to stay in education until 18 or beyond, that they can come and they can do a course here supported with basic things like English and maths, but also learning a skill that maybe will inspire them into a career. Whereas if they had just finished their GCSEs and hadn't felt they'd done that well, they're not inspired to perhaps for their career choice. So I thought that was so interesting that you're still covering all the bases with the basic education, but actually inspiring people for a career. And so say for instance someone wanted to come to do a course here, that maybe they've already got a job in another industry, but they would love to try the marine industry or super yachts or whatever. but they financially can't make that leap because they can't leave the security of the job. You also offer funding for adults also.
Yep. So we offer 2 types of funding: repayable bursaries and non-repayable. So repayable bursaries are sort of like an interest-free loan, essentially. So it's that kind of cash flow issue. They haven't got the money right now.
Yeah.
They would really struggle to make that leap, but they want to.
Yeah.
And then we offer that funding, and then when they start working, they can start paying it back. So you'll meet, no doubt, lots of adult students here that are doing exactly that. They come from other industries and they just want a change of career, really. So it's about removing any barriers that people might have to entering the maritime industry.
So you're doing this month course then, and you have no experience whatsoever?
Pretty much building computers and stuff like that. So I'm used to working with like small components.
Yeah.
So this is just kind of scaled up, a bit more hands-on, a bit more rougher.
And what's the ideal for you? Are you thinking about changing career?
Yeah. So I went from doing the IT into gradually progressing to project management.
Yeah, in yachts?
And no. Software.
In IT, okay.
And then moved on to kind of this, because I'm looking to kind of move back to Croatia.
Okay.
And kind of start from there. Since it's kind of big yachting industry, just kind of made sense since I have a technical background.
Sure.
So move it into mechanical and just understanding how the yachts work.
So you're doing the month course. So what's your experience before?
Pretty much zero.
Okay.
I've come from special education teaching.
Wow, so a complete change then.
Yeah.
So what made you want to come to the UKSA?
I did my sailing qualifications at home and realised that I really like being out on the water.
Right.
So thought, okay, how can I make that into a career? And I've always been quite sciencey anyway, quite into how things work and that sort of thing.
So what would be your ideal once you finish the course? Are you looking to get a job in yachting or in the marine industry?
I would love to do survey and research vessels. I think that would be really cool.
Which are very popular now. There's a lot of lovely super yachts that also double up as research vessels. Oh, well, hopefully we'll see you on one of those then. Good luck.
It just gives people the support to do it. And that's really important because without that, it's difficult to make those decisions.
Yeah, I think so. I feel that there's a lot of people in the world that get stuck in a rut and don't quite know how to make that change. And like I was saying earlier, I think the super yacht industry in particular can be quite intimidating. So taking down financial barriers, but also taking down barriers, we're coming to a place like this where everyone's so lovely and you really get so much support also would make changing career and taking that leap so much easier.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's so many incredible things at UKSA, our careers team, our welfare team. So really offering that holistic support to students and helping them into jobs as well. It's not just about a tick, you've got your qualification. How can we really help you to get that first job? And how can we help you once you've got that to progress as well? So career progression for us is a really important element of supporting our students and our alumni.
Yeah. What are the options for people to be able to contribute and support maybe cadets coming, or how could they just donate to the UKSA to support the whole organisation?
Well, a large part of what my team does is kind of really understand what people want to give to and how can we help them reach their philanthropic aims. So people can individually sponsor, cadets. So they might say, okay, I want to sponsor 3 cadets this year. They might want to fund children onto the water. So really giving young people that introduction to the water, to maritime. They might want to just give a bit more kind of holistically, I suppose, to UKSA and really understand what our vision is and help us kind of direct that to the most need. We've got some funders that want to support, for example, our welfare team. So they're really kind of interested in the well-being of crew and of young people. So they want to fund that directly. So we work with our donors, whether that's kind of our corporate partners or whether it's individuals, so super owners or captains or family offices, to really understand what inspires them, what are they passionate about, and how can we help them to reach those aims.
And so you're working also, like you said, with family offices, super yachts, but also you do work with some big companies in the super yacht industry already.
Yes, we're very lucky to have some brilliant partnerships within the industry. And I mean, Emerson Foundation is sort of our biggest one and longest standing one, and they are incredible in their support to UKSA. And on the tour later, you'll see some other companies that have sponsored things like our bridge simulator, which is Howden, or Heirlooms, who have sponsored some linen. So there's lots of different ways that the industry can get involved with supporting UKSA. And yes, again, it's just understanding how can we help them reach their aims. You know, what for a company does that look like in terms of that partnership, and how can we help them do it? So being quite strategic with those partnerships.
Yeah, of course, because I guess with some of the product suppliers sponsoring also, they're supporting the next generation of people who are going to come through and basically be using their products. Actually, that's a great idea.
Exactly. It's kind of a win-win, really.
Yeah.
So yeah, we have lots of opportunities like that. So I would absolutely call on the industry if there is anything that you think, oh, I could work with UKSA in that way, or just want to have a chat about, you know, what that could look like.
Yeah.
I'm always open to, you know, to really discussing it and helping you reach your aims and you know, providing those benefits back as well.
And of course, it can be completely anonymous. So if you were a superyacht owner or a crew member or a company within the industry, you can donate anonymously also.
Yeah, we have a lot of people who want to donate and not be recognised for that. We have a lot who maybe want to put their name on a building. So, you know, there's all sorts of different things that we can do, and there's always things going on.
Sure.
So, you know, we're looking at big capital redevelopment projects on site. So really, we can't do that without funders. We can't do that with people alongside us. So yeah, it's just, you know, for us.
So there's loads of options.
So many options. I mean, we've got a huge fleet. So you've seen the kind of yachts out there, lots of powerboats, lots of dinghies, cats, and these are used for all sorts of programs. At the moment, they're out for our further education courses. So we've got 2-year further education provision, ages 16 to 18. And they're with us for, well, the academic years, and they're kind of, out on the water as much as they can be. And then we use them for a lot of our work with children as well. So when children come on residential trips, when they come through their school groups, youth groups, and our development programs for teenagers as well. So really just kind of getting out, learning what the water's all about, how they can use maths and science and things as part of their learning. And in the summer, it's a very different vibe here. Isn't it? Lots of people, lots of laughing, lots of screaming, lots of, everyone just having, you know, a lot of fun. So you have to come back.
Definitely when the sun is shining.
Yeah.
So this is the galley area, and then we've got the laundry room that we use for our interior training programs. We opened the training centre in 2019, just before COVID. So obviously everything was set up fresh for when we came out of lockdown, which is great. It's just a really great space for the stews to come practice. We do cocktails, canapes, wine appreciation, fine dining, tablescaping, everything that they need to know essentially to go step on board and perform well at a 7-star level. We follow the IANI guest progression route, so it's the industry recognised standard. So they are continually assessed throughout their time here.
There's so many skills as well, isn't there? And how long would the stew course take normally?
So it takes 3 to 5 weeks, depending on if they do the butler training at the end as well. We've been working with the British Butler Institute to offer that as an add-on at the end of the course. So anyone that's maybe not come from a really strong hospitality background already, they kind of tend to book onto that as well to then do. It's how to hand over pen and how to welcome different types of guests and how to just hold yourself and compose yourself. And seeing the transformation in the students in the time here as well is really phenomenal.
Yeah. Brilliant. Hi Lauren.
Hi.
Thank you for joining me. So I wanted to chat a little bit about your role here at the UKSA.
So I'm the Industry and Careers Coordinator. I've been here coming up to 9 years now, and my role has developed a lot in that time. But primarily I am supporting students every day, whether that's the cadets, the yacht masters, and then also our deck officers and captains coming back to return for further training. So predominantly the deck officer route, but also people going into various maritime careers, whether that's charter, flotilla, workboat, shore-based, we kind of cover it all.
What I feel and what I notice when, we've been chatting and going around is that you are sort of the centre of people care here. Everything knows you, you know everybody. So that seems to be a really large part of your role.
Yeah, it's definitely remembering individuals. We take notes during our one-to-one sessions. So all of our cadets have 2 one-to-ones with me throughout their course, but over 5 months I see them a lot more than that.
Yeah.
I've been in the office till 9 p.m. the last few nights doing interview prep and just chatting to them, and it's nice when they get to that point where they just want to come sit on the floor next to my desk and chat. And
they trust you.
Yeah, it's building that trust with them so that when they then go out in the industry, they know that they've still got someone they can reach out to and they feel supported to come back, and they've got that relationship with us at UKSA that stays with them.
Okay, so Harvey, you're a student here also. Tell me about what course you're doing.
The Superyacht Cadetship as well, phase 1.
Okay, so you're in your first year.
Yeah.
And what made you want to come to the UKSA?
I mean, to be fair, I've not got much sailing background,
Okay.
but I like the sound of yachts. I'm a family that's got most yachts, so.
Okay, so there is a little bit of background there that you've enjoyed being on the water. And what would be your dream job once you've done your courses?
I want to work up to officer.
Right.
But after this course, deckhand. Just become a deckhand and work my way up from there.
So you want to go to sea on a super yacht?
Yeah.
You had the first interview this week.
How did it go?
It's good. It was alright.
Good.
It was good.
So we're just waiting to hear back now, but we've got 4 days of interviews next week.
Right.
We have 16 agencies and management companies that will be doing either in-person or virtual interviews with all of the cadets.
Wow.
So it's an intense week of industry prep,
Sure.
doing interviews, filming for graduation and funders, but
And that's great experience, having that exposure to lots of different interviews and things for when you are ready to then go out into the workplace.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Once your cadets come through the UKSA and maybe they get to the point and they're finishing their course and they're ready to go out into the world, we've mentioned a lot of amazing things that you've been doing, which
Yeah.
are not necessarily about being a cadet, but actually just about life skills, which is so important.
yeah, so we do a lot of interview prep with them. So every cadet does a mock interview with members of staff that they've not necessarily interacted with while they've been here. So it kind of puts them on the spot a little bit, ready for their interview week, which is part of their course. So next week we've got 16 different agencies and management companies doing either in-person or virtual interviews. There's companies like Edmiston, Burgess, Wilson Halligan, just to name a couple, but that's not exclusive. We've got a lot of them involved, obviously. So they will then have speed interviews with the cadets over 4 days to get to know them a little bit, get a fit for their personality and their experience, and then hopefully that will lead to some placements. We're trying to give them that experience before they're then going out doing it themselves, dock walking, having those interviews in person, or even like the WhatsApp calls now can be quite terrifying. So getting them used to that format and how to prepare and what questions to ask. So
being able to talk positively about themselves, you know, that's a skill that actually a lot of adults don't have, is being able to sell themselves in a good way. So how great that they get all this practice.
Yeah.
So they're really not just doing a cadetship course, they're actually learning life skills whilst getting a lot of support then to make the next step. And you also are very involved in helping them find the right vessel, aren't you?
Yeah, so usually I directly place about 40% of our cadets on board vessels. So I've actually had a reference request come through today for one of them. About 5 or 6 of them have had interviews with boats already that I've put them forward for. So that's usually ex-UKSA students, whether they're cadets themselves or they've done an MCA course or a friend's told them UKSA does employment. Go to them direct and we'll give them a written reference. We'll give a honest review of the candidate.
Yeah.
We'll try, if I know the crew already, obviously matching them to that crew dynamic, because that's the most important thing as well, is how are they going to fit into that crew and are they going to stay there, because that's obviously really important for us.
What part of the course so far have you enjoyed the most?
The FAR, which is the big 65-foot. Yeah, that was the best 10 days, like, honestly. It was
So tell me, you're on the boat for 10 days with how many other people?
So there's 10 of us.
Okay.
So it's our crew and our sister crew. And we went to Jersey, sailed, 4 days non-stop, was it?
So this is mind-blowing to me. You'd never sailed, you knew nothing about boats or anything before.
No.
You just literally Googled. You wanted to work outside, you wanted to do education with the job that potentially would be outside. You Google it, you find this place, you come here, and now
I don't know.
you're sailing.
Yeah.
I love that.
It's mental.
So it's changed your life. It's going to change the trajectory of your career and life.
It's very exciting though.
So March then, when you finish your course, you're looking to then go on to a boat, a yacht as a deckhand.
Yes. I am open to deck stew
Okay.
because it's a very competitive industry.
Industry.
Job, like,
But ideally you're looking deck-wise.
and I'm looking at sailing as well.
Okay.
Trying to stay on sailing vessels.
Yeah,
Which
that's what you've found your
you
passion.
asked me 6 months ago, I would be like, no, water. But no, definitely after, like, you find the love for it.
Yeah. Wow, that's fantastic. Oh, well, good luck.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Oh, that's brilliant. This is something we were also talking about earlier, is that finding someone their first job really is make or break their career. Because if you know the boat really well and you know the culture and you know the sort of way the boat works, you know the crew, and you place someone, it's much more likely to work. And that person's going to have a really wonderful start to their career. They're going to see the best side of yachting, as opposed to going on a boat that's disastrous, doesn't have the time to, mentor someone. and they're going to come home and think, I'm miserable, this isn't for me, and leave the industry. And what a waste. So that first job really is so important.
Yeah. Even if it's a temp job, we want them to get something out of it, and we want to make sure that they get on with their crew members, they fit into that dynamic, and they know also what things they need to get signed off. So even getting sea service signed off or their training record books, like we go through all of that before they leave so that they are hopefully already prepared to then have those conversations with their officers or captains about what they need to progress, so that it's clear from day one, this is my next step. And then we work with them individually to then make plans to come back, because every boat's different. Some boats have training budgets, others don't. Students are self-funding. So it's a real mix of them working out when people are available to come back and do further training. We've obviously seen some students that are back doing courses. So I've known them for 2-3 years now.
Yeah.
Some of the cadets that I mentored in 2022 are going to finish their OOW this year, which is scary but amazing as well. So it's really cool to follow their journeys, and we do really try to stay in touch with them.
Sam, you're on the Superyacht Cadetship. Yeah, tell me how your experience has been. You started in September.
So it's been really good. So we had 4 months in one go, and then we had Christmas off, and then we have just another 2 months till our exam. And then hopefully once we all qualify, we can then get a job and go straight out into the industry.
So you actually live in the south of France. So you picked the UKSA as the place you wanted to come training.
Yeah.
What made you pick it?
I started sailing quite young, and as a present to me, my grandparents found out about sailing courses which are done out there.
Yeah.
And then they booked me on a sailing course to then gain my certificates as stage 1, stage 2.
So they booked you a course here as a present?
Exactly, yeah.
Wow.
Which was quite a long time ago. I was about 13, 14.
Okay.
And then from that, I gradually worked up to be an instructor here. And I've been working here this summer as well, just to like gain a bit of experience.
Sure, so it was actually almost like a natural choice then for you to stay and do a qualification.
Yeah. I've known I've wanted to do the cadetship for a solid 5 years.
You just had to finish school, get
Exactly,
that out the way. Yeah. And now you can start the fun stuff.
Yeah.
So is your dream to become Chief Officer Captain?
Ideally, yeah. In the long run, yeah, absolutely.
We've got a good start here.
Yeah, it's great because they give you so many qualifications
Yeah.
other people might not have, so we are lucky.
And a good start with the support, and I've been hearing from the other cadets about all the interview practice and all that sort of thing, so you're getting life skills at the same time. Thanks guys, well good luck with your courses, and I hopefully will see you one day out on a super yacht. Hopefully you'll become one of my future customers.
Yeah, hopefully.
So what about training for the actual super yachts on board? Because we talked a lot last year about the amazing mental health sort of first aid awareness course that you're now looking at. So tell me more about that.
So we've been delivering our mental health and wellbeing for seafarers course for about 4 or 5 years now on site to all of our career students. So that's been accredited by the UK Chamber of Shipping. So it's recognised as a maritime standard.
Yeah.
So all of our students go out into the industry with an awareness of how to look after themselves, how to spot poor signs of mental health within themselves and others, and how to access support. But we're obviously sending them out onto boats that haven't had that training. So what we've been trying to do and what we've been working with the Seafarers Charity and Mission to Seafarers on this last year is actually delivering that training directly to vessels.
Yeah.
So ensuring that crew at all levels, whether that's the junior stew or the laundry stew or the junior decking engineer, right the way through to the captain or the fleet captain, to actually be able to do that within their whole team. We offer an awareness course, which is a half-day programme, a skills for managers course, which is for head of departments and the captains, so that they're able to identify safe spaces to have those conversations. And they're quite challenging conversations to have.
Very,
so how do you do that in an appropriate way, using the right language? Are you the right person to have that conversation, or do you need to speak to another head of department to have that conversation with someone if they're maybe the trusted person? It could be about setting a wellness committee up on board and having people that crew know they can go to. And then we also deliver the 2-day Mental Health First Aid England First Aider course. So bit of a mouthful, but it's been really positively received within the industry on the boats we've delivered to, thanks to you, making some intros last year. So we can deliver that directly on board vessels, shore-based with the vessel's availability, or we're also delivering some courses that multiple vessels can sign on to as well.
Great.
So we're going to be doing one in April in La Ciotat at NB92. So that is for any vessels that are in the yard to sign up to if they want to send 1 or 2 of their crew to get the training done.
Right. You need to send me the details on that.
Yes,
then.
definitely.
That's great. Thanks for watching this episode so far. We have some great guests coming up, and we wouldn't want you to miss any of those future episodes. So please don't forget to click the subscribe button and enjoy the rest of this episode. You're trying to educate people when they're here and then support them when they leave and go onto the vessel.
Yeah.
And now you're trying to support the people on the vessel so that everyone...
Yeah, it's such a big talked about subject at the moment in the industry.
It is,
And people are identifying the need to have that training because it's not included in the mandatory training.
No.
The PSSR module of STCW has just been updated to include things like bullying and harassment, but it doesn't include mental health. So that's such a big topic, especially when people are living away from home for extended periods. You're living with your colleagues. You can't step off the boat if you're having a hard day. So it is really important that we're educating the industry as a whole, not just people going in at junior level. We need to be doing it from the top down as well.
I always think that, if something, touch wood, bad things don't happen, but if they do on board, it's very much like, okay, that's happened, but the boat still needs to be cared for and looked after. And often people have to pick themselves up quite quickly.
Yeah.
So to have that person they can go to who's properly trained and can really support them means that they can maybe get through that situation in a sort of safer and better way. So it's so important.
For sure. And it's about being able to signpost them to external companies that also specialise in the maritime industry. So you work with Yacht Crew Help. Obviously, they can offer specialist advice to seafarers. So it's really important that people know what support's available to them as well.
Yeah, which I think definitely is lacking, because there is support out there, but you've got to make sure you're finding the right one and obviously know where to go, which is not always the case.
Definitely.
Amazing. Thank you so much. I really appreciate your time.
Thank you.
So we had a complete refresh of this gym last year?
Yeah.
Year before?
In the summer.
And this is available for everybody to use.
Yeah, staff and students. Nearly used by the students. It's great.
A lot of obviously the officers from the MCA courses come use it in the evenings because they're already in that routine on board. So
Right.
it's good for them to keep that up. Yeah, to take that time away from studying to actually come maintain their fitness levels. Some of them will go off site running, but the gym's usually full in an evening.
And then we also have sports classes that we do in the evenings as well that are available.
Circuits, yoga.
Yeah.
We're looking at doing some paddle this year because obviously that's getting quite popular. So,
Yeah.
yeah, we try adapt it to make sure that everyone's got something that they enjoy doing.
I'm intrigued. So you did the cadetship here.
Yeah.
And then what have you gone on to do since you finished your cadetship?
So for a year, I did commercial work. So I was a tugboat operator and I was a safety skipper in Dover. And then I joined a motor yacht in May. And then I did that until October this year. I had to leave the vessel to come and do courses back at UKSA.
So what courses are you doing now?
I've completed EDH. I've just done Helm and then ECDIS. So our last day is tomorrow.
How's it going?
Very well.
Are you enjoying the ECDIS park?
Yeah, it's a lot to take in over 5 days, but
Yeah, sure. Yeah, this is a great facility. You have the best.
yeah, we've been in Bridgewater for the whole of ECDIS.
Have
So
you?
yeah, we're in here in the evenings.
Swatting up,
Yeah,
like
pretty much.
it. Teacher's pet. That's the
No,
way to go.
Not teacher's pet, but trying to get it right.
Oh, so once you finish your qualification, what would be your dream job? Would you like to go back to super yachts, or are you interested more in the commercial side?
Commercial side's interesting, but yachting's a nicer life.
Okay.
I'll probably do another year of commercial, so wind farm boats, because you can still progress.
Yeah.
But then super yacht, when I kind of go through the ranks and everything,
Yeah.
closer to my OW, I probably will go back to yachting.
So you'd like to work your way up the ranks on a super yacht eventually,
100%.
become a captain? See how it goes.
Responsibility.
It is.
Chief
is.
officer, maybe.
Okay, so that sounds amazing. Well, good luck with it, Laura.
Very much,
Thank
I
you.
appreciate
Okay, Chris, thank you for joining me. So you are the COO here, but you've actually worked for the UKSA for 20 years.
Yep, that's correct. Yep.
So how did you end up, first of all, how did you end up coming to the UKSA?
Well, a long time ago now, I came out of school and I wasn't really 100% sure wanted to do. I was into sailing whilst at school, etc. But academic pathways was not for me. And my parents actually found out about UKSA 25 plus years ago now. And yeah, so I originally was a UKSA student and trained to be a water sports instructor.
Wow.
And that's where my journey began.
So that's really interesting, because we were talking a bit earlier about now having to stay in education until you're 18, and the school system isn't for everyone. I think we're seeing that more and more. And you were one of those people that the school system traditionally maybe didn't fit what you were looking to do. So that you are the sort of person we're talking about, in the sense that why this place exists.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I was, academic learning, going to school every day. I wanted to be active, vocational training, something that I enjoyed, but also gaining qualifications at the same time. So it was an ideal fit for myself, and it's still an ideal fit for many thousands of young people that come through UKSA every day now.
So you came and did water sports instructor training here, and then went off, did a bit of bits and pieces, and then came back to work for the UKSA 20 years ago.
Yeah, so it was interesting. So yeah, trained as a water sports instructor, and then went and worked overseas.
Yeah.
I say to people, I managed to travel the world and didn't pay for a single flight, which was
Amazing.
perfect, right? Yeah, and had a really great time. About 5 years traveling around, working in some lovely places globally. And then interestingly, actually, I came back to UKSA to visit some friends. And there was a job advertised, and I thought, and at the time that was what we now call the water sports manager. So looking after our water sports department. Yeah, and that was 20 years ago.
So it just happened. It was an opportunity then that you were coming to visit some friends, and you thought, actually, I fancy going back because you had such a good time.
Yeah, so but applied for the job, and
that's the beginning of the end.
That was it. Yeah, still here.
Okay, so I can see, after being here and meeting everyone, why you would want to be here for 20 years. The place is incredible. But tell me why you're still here, and what you feel your mission and passion is in your role now.
Yeah. I mean, what UKSA does for young people is outstanding. I mean, there is nowhere else in the world where you can come as a 6-year-old kid, your first introduction to water sports, and then keep coming back, schools and groups, leisure activity, career training, and ultimately be a superyacht captain on vessels up to 3,000 gross tons.
Yeah.
I mean, and being able to give that opportunity to young people, for them to be able to come here. And I'm really passionate about what we do ultimately. I just think it's great.
Yeah,
that's
it's
why
so unique. I've even just talking, with the people on courses and things here, it's such a lovely feel. It feels more like a family feel, that you're not just coming and doing a course and then you leave and you're forgotten. There's a lot of aftercare, and there's a lot of thought going into what each person's going to get out of their course and what they're doing it for, the sort of end result of what they're hoping for. And there's a lot of thought that goes into the support and the well-being and things like that, which it feels really lovely.
I mean, I think, we know it's quite difficult for young people nowadays. And there's two things that UKSA does very differently to other people. One is our welfare support. Not only when you're on site, but also when you leave. We're here for life. You can pick up the phone. You've got an issue, you're not sure who to talk, come and talk to us. We'll give you that support. And it's about developing you as a young person, getting you ready to go out into the industry. But then also it's the career service. We work globally with lots of different providers in the sectors that you are looking to go into. So, is that flotilla yachting? Is that a water sports instructor? Is that going to work on super yachts? Is that in the workboat sector? And we've got a careers department that works directly with the industries to gain employment for young people. And again, that service is lifetime. So that's not just whilst you're here doing what we call our career training courses. You could go out, you could be working in the industry 5 years, maybe you've taken a career break, and then you want to go back into the industry. That's fine. Pick up the phone, send us your CV. We'll tell you where all the jobs are. It's really unique. UKSA being the charity, every single course that we do, again, whether you are a young person coming with your school and group, or you're coming here on career training, there are funding options available if you cannot afford to pay yourself. And again, there is nowhere else globally that is doing that.
That is that.
Yeah.
It feels like it's unique. I've never heard of it before. But...
So, we've got, unfortunately, there is schools and groups that a school class of kids would come here 25 kids in the class, 3 of them can't afford it. We have the Leave No Child Behind fund.
Yeah.
So we can fund them 3 young people to come here. And then we have the industry bursary. So, you know, you want to start a career in maritime, you want to do the yachtmaster training, you want to be a Superyacht cadet, you can't afford it for whatever reason, then you can apply for one of our bursary pots. Some of them are repayable and some of them are, you know, you might receive full funding depending on your circumstances.
Yeah, so I didn't know there was even an option that you could borrow the money and pay it back. That's fantastic. Okay, so Manuel, you're doing the Superyacht Cadet course also.
Yep.
First year, how's it going?
It's been amazing so far.
Good.
Had such good experience here, meeting so many cool people, and it's an amazing first step into the Superyacht industry.
Brilliant. Okay, so you're on a funded course.
Yeah.
So who are you sponsored by?
TK Foundation.
Okay, and I hear you've just had some good news about being...
Yes, so I'm a youth ambassador for Henry Lloyd now.
Wow.
Just such an amazing opportunity.
So what's the plan? Have you got an ideal job once you finish your qualifications here?
So for this March, once we finish phase 1,
Yeah.
I want to be a deckhand, go straight from med, get a job and work.
Okay.
And work for the next year and a half.
Yeah.
Come back as soon as I can to do my
Your next step.
and then go out again and come back to UKSA to do my OOW.
Okay.
And then throughout the years, hopefully be captain one day.
So captain is the ultimate goal?
I guess so.
Yeah. Sounds like you've got a good plan. Well, good luck with it.
Thank you very much.
Okay, so the facility itself, let's go back a few years.
Yeah.
So it was, the site was bought and the charity was started by, is it Sylvia and Noel?
Yeah. Yeah.
So tell me a bit about what was the reason? Well, I mean, I can see the reason being,
Yeah.
it's wonderful, but tell me the sort of reason behind why they did that.
Yeah, so Noel was a very passionate sailor. He sort of had one of the first super yachts back in its day. And when he was sailing around the world, which is what he did, is he gave people the opportunity to come on board with him that wouldn't normally have the opportunity.
Right.
So ultimately, his passion was about giving back to young people and for them to understand about a career at sea.
Yeah.
And that is how he started UKSA. So when he bought the site back in 1984, I think it was now, he started UKSA, the charity, ultimately to inspire young people to have a career at sea. And still now, to this day, that is what UKSA is here to do, you know. And yeah, very kindly, he funded it for a few years out of his own money, started the charity itself, and that's how it came about. And the Lister family are still actively involved.
Really?
Yeah, especially the interestingly, one of his grandsons is very actively involved.
Brilliant.
Which, we speak to quite often. So
And like you say, it's still
really
doing
cool.
exactly what he started it for. It's giving opportunities to everybody, whatever financial background, whatever educational background, the opportunity to try a job or education on the water.
And on the water. Yep, exactly what he wanted it to do. So yeah.
Okay, so day to day, what is your role? Because I'm also a COO, and it's basically a bit of everything.
Yeah.
So tell me what sort of your main roles and responsibilities.
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, I split it into 2. We run maritime training,
Yeah.
whatever role that may be, and then we also run a hotel.
Yes, because
You know,
300 and something beds.
Yeah, so we've got 365 beds, full catering facilities, housekeeping teams, maintenance, etc., etc.
Yeah.
And then we run a full maritime training. So my role, health and safety and safeguarding, number one
Yeah, 'cause
priority.
you've got a lot of young
Yeah.
adults and children who are also
And it's the mixes of age groups, mixes of backgrounds.
Yeah.
You know. So that's the number one priority. And then ultimately, I guess I have key heads of departments that are running the specific business areas.
Yeah.
So as an example, yachting, who's running all our yachting, you know, head of operations that's running all our shoreside facilities, our water sports, and MCA managers running all our super yacht training, etc. And I suppose I spend ideally over 50% of my time is more strategic.
Yeah.
So, you know, I spend a lot of time out and about, out at yacht shows, networking, at events to try and understand, you know, what training do people need, what's the next opportunity, what's missing out there. That's predominantly a lot of my role.
And then I guess also to raise awareness because, you know, you're here on this little tiny island and this massive facility, and there's so much, you know, that people could be involved in, that actually to go out and meet people and talk about what's happening here.
Yeah, tell people what we do. I mean, you say this, you know, it is actually a big charity that is based on the Isle of Wight. You know, we have global students that are coming to us. They're not just Isle of Wight students.
Where have you come from to do the course?
Anguilla, tiny island in the Caribbean.
I know it, yeah. And what made you want to come all the way over to another tiny island?
Well, I've been sailing all my life, like since I could walk.
Yeah.
I was fishing with my dad, spear fishing, so I was just like, why not come here?
Yeah. Okay. And so if you're doing the Superyacht Cadetship, what would be your dream job once you're qualified?
Well, I kind of just want to sail around the world.
On a Superyacht?
Yeah, or on my own boat. Why not?
So after you've done your first year, what's next after that?
After my first year, I'll probably come back here, do a couple more courses, and work up to an OOW.
Work up to your OOW? Oh, great. Thank you. And also, it's not just children and, you know, young adults sort of taking that first step. I've just bumped into a chief officer who's doing his master's who uses us for nav management. He's been at sea for years. These are experienced people coming. So you're right, you need to know that the training's up to date, up to standard, and the offering is what the industry wants as well.
Yeah, so that's, you know, that is one of the big parts of the job, is hearing what, and actually there's two things. There's one is the mandatory training. To work on board X vessel, you need X qualifications. But it's a bit more than that nowadays, actually. It's what other stuff do we need to be delivering that really is going to make, one, that young person employable. So yes, there's the mandatory ticket. What do you really need them to know? You know, tell us what that is, because we can put that into our training programs, makes them more employable. We want to give them the best opportunity to gain the employment. And then there's actually new opportunity. You know, the workboat sector now's massively growing, and that's been a real opportunity. And actually, not everybody wants to go to sea full time or work on super yachts ultimately. So the workboat sector is another great career pathway, especially for people from harder to reach backgrounds, actually, because they don't want to be away from home for so long. Normally they can sort of get 2 weeks on, 2 weeks off in that industry. So yeah, there's lots of opportunities.
Yeah. You're giving them the best chance. That first role is going to give them a good experience. And often when people have a bad experience, they'll come home, they'll leave the industry. And then they'll go and work somewhere else. It's such a shame, because maybe it was just a bad, maybe lack of preparation or just a bad combination. So you're trying to ensure that actually their career is successful.
Yeah, and there is a big piece of that going, actually, when they get here, what is it you want to go and do? They say, well, I want to do X. And we go, well, have you thought about Y? And they go, oh, actually, that's a really good idea. I like the sound of that. But I think, the career service piece as well is, because we have the students here for a long time, we understand we can place them in the right places. And that is why we work really closely with the industry, predominantly the recruitment agencies, yacht management companies, because they know that we're going to put forward students that are probably going to fit in on board a vessel.
And you turn up with some life skills.
Because
actually it's so important.
And are really well trained.
Because often, I guess, when boats take on green stews and deckies, when they turn up and, you know, they can do you know, admin, or they understand actually how a boat works, it's run like a business, they're not having to teach them those life skills, so it's far more likely to go well, isn't it?
I mean, there is a huge bit about managing expectations of young people.
I can imagine.
You know, actually, you think you're going to do, this is what it's really like. And that's why we work, you know, we have industry experts come in and talk to them. So as you've seen, you know, we've got someone here, our phase 1 cadets that are just be graduated in March looking for their first jobs, but they're socializing with people that are doing their master's modules. So we can say what it's like and what you need to be doing, but they're talking to them, you know, out in the coffee shop there. So, and they can tell them what it's really like and what to expect. And that's very unique.
Okay, so tell me, what's the best bit about your job?
Best bit about my job is probably the student outcomes. Actually, seeing
I can imagine, very rewarding.
You know, some of the, you know, because we do 16 to 18 vocational provision, you know, come out 16 to 18 training, and then they go on to our further career training, may become cadets, or, you know, and then they come back and they're now an officer. I go, you know, that's pretty special.
Yeah, you've had a real big hand in the start of their adult life. Especially maybe also people who've come from backgrounds that this wouldn't have been possible without the funding and the setup here and the mentorship that goes with it.
Yeah.
Their life would have been very different.
Very, very different.
Yeah.
And that was my next point was actually going to be the staff team. Do you know, I always say to people, you've been at UKSA a long time. I go, yeah, but you know, there's not many people that get up in the morning and go, actually, I like going to work.
Yeah.
And, you know, the people at work are here to do something special.
Yeah.
There's not many places where you can go, actually, we've got a good team and they're passionate about what we do.
What's sort of next in the pipeline then for the UKSA? Are there any sort of changes, any development happening on the site?
Well,
probably loads.
Yeah. A couple of big things. We're about to open a new building over the other side of the river.
Wow.
In East Kells.
That's going to be?
It's going to be classed as a maritime education training centre.
Right.
It is ultimately an expansion of UKSA.
Yeah.
What it's enabling us to do is more business, train more young people, quite simply. So that will be opening this year. Hopefully in the springtime. Yeah, that's on my list. It's on my to-do list. Yeah. So that's that. And then the other couple of big things that we've got in the pipeline is actually this main site here. This building. You know, we built a new building over COVID times, which was quite lucky actually that we managed to get that building going. But actually, this building that we're sitting in now, it does need some redevelopment and sort of modernisation. So that's a big project that we're looking at what we're going to do. And then actually the future of training is a big focus for this year. Blended learning, introducing, you know, courses that are more online, courses that people they can do when they're at sea, so they don't have to keep coming back to UKSA, but still have that connection with us.
Yeah.
So there's going to be a big drive on the future of learning, which is slightly linked to some of the, you know, MCA modernisation of training, what's going on as well. But it's bigger than that. It's about actually what can UKSA do and how can we do it differently to suit everybody.
Yeah.
Nowadays.
And engage more people.
Yeah.
But still, I guess, keep that personal touch, which is what the feeling really is here.
Yeah. And then there's always new, you know, course developments, because somebody will say, oh, we could do with this. And we go, okay, we'll look at it. Yeah. So, which is always quite exciting.
Oh, thank you so much. I mean, absolute
thank you.
pleasure to come today and speak to you, and thank you for your time.
Thank you very much.